This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Total Red Man has ever done something like this to me! It's,
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the dregs of humanity!
Episode 160, submission number 1959. Coneheads, the 1983 cartoon pilot. Coneheads was an unsold pilot that aired on NBC the night of October 14th, 1983.
Maintain low tones.
You know, Chico, that has a very Gremlins-ish vibe, that theme
You were
music.
getting that too, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. Just the craziest. What do I even say to begin talking about this?
I think the obvious starting point is mentioning what Coneheads is or who they are.
Okay,
I know most people know that it started on SNL.
Okay, so SNL had characters created by Tom Davis, Dan Aykroyd, and Lorne Michaels, where you have a pair of aliens from the planet Remulac, and their heads were shaped like cones.
Because
They're
the Coneheads.
They were the Coneheads, yes. And they were on our planet for the sole purpose of colonizing it and turning it into a spaceport.
Yeah, well, that sure worked out well.
A little bit. Yeah, they ended up going native, as you can see by the many episodes of the Coneheads on SNL and the 1993 movie.
And the 1983 movie is an underrated classic.
Yeah, it is. I can tell you right now, I was at an age where I thought the actress who played Connie was really cute.
Oh, yeah, same. And also, she ends up with Chris Farley in the end of the movie.
Which, let's be honest, gave us Bat Guys hope.
Yeah.
But before that, a similar story was told in the form of a 1983 adult animated cartoon. Now, you think nowadays with your Simpsons, your Family Guys, your Rick and Mortys, that an adult-themed animated cartoon sounds easy to me. Well, if it was easy to people in 1983, we would have had more of those. Well, it wasn't that easy, was it?
Yeah, because this is like a foreign concept in an adult animated cartoon in 1983.
Yeah. Because you have these well-known characters, Beldar and Prymaat of the planet Remulac, and they're being voiced by, of course, Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin.
And wouldn't Kate and Allie have just started?
Kate and Allie would have just started, yes.
Okay.
Kate and Allie premiered in fall of '84, so the following season.
Okay, so it's 1 year later. I was off. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, jeez!
Any excuse to bring up Susan St. James.
I quit. I'm done.
But, you could, have a voice part and then do, like, a flesh and body part.
Yeah, it's happened before.
Yeah, just ask Hank Azaria, who was doing The Simpsons, at the same time he was doing Herman's Head. Same with Yardley Smith. So we have Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd. Also, we have Lorraine Newman voicing their baby, then little kid, then teenage daughter, Connie, who is oddly, she knows that she's different. She doesn't really understand how different she is until, well, Beldar and Prymaat tell her that, of course, they're a pair of aliens who went native.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's trying to just live an average, normal teenage life.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't
There's
want
nothing
to?
wrong with that.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to live an average, normal teenage life with your head oddly shaped? So how did this come about? Well, the folks behind SNL teamed up with noted animators Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass, who, by the way, we did discuss on a previous entry, The Mouse and the Mayflower.
Oh, yeah. Let's not remind us about that.
Yeah. And they teamed up with Pacific Animation Corporation, headed at the time by Masaki Iizuka, to produce this pilot. And the pilot itself was written by, of course, Tom Davis and Al Franken, with additional voice work by Tom Davis and Robert McFadden. Robert McFadden, of course, one of rankin-bass's in-house voice artists. So, what happened on this? Well, actually, pretty much know what happened. This basically, being a pilot, serves as a bit of an origin story. We have life on the planet Remulac, and Beldar and Prymaat are chosen to go to Earth with the express sort of intent on colonizing it and turning it into a spaceport. Now, they kind of sort of look like their SNL counterparts, but you can tell that their appearances are a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? Exaggerated. Thank you, brain.
They're like cartoony.
It's very cartoony.
I'd even add the phrase crudely drawn.
Yeah.
They just didn't look right.
By the way, we're watching this as we do this, and all I can say is, anybody notice that chair?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
does this look like anything?
And by the way, this aired at 8:30 at night.
And it slipped past the censors.
I'll take getting crap past the radar for 200, Alex.
Well, consider who co-wrote this special and what he later got in trouble for. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. So, they're charged with learning all about Earthlings and, well, taking over.
And they're supposed to land at the UN.
Yeah, in New York City. But, of course, because Beldar is driving, they get lost.
Yeah, somebody took a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
Yeah. And, of course, Prymaat wants... Beldar says, can I just read this speech I'm supposed to give to the UN? Prymaat's like, you must commit it to memory. Suffice it to say, they're lost.
And they're on the moon.
Yeah. They're on the moon, and they eventually make it to Earth. But they don't make it to New York City. They land just a bit outside. And they make their way to what looks to be an old trailer that functions as a TV repair shop.
Yeah, because they're getting chased by a bunch of dogs.
Uh-huh. Now, this is a very important part of the story because our TV repairman, who A, has a gun, and B, owns those dogs, is named Louis, and his family actually came from France. Beldar and Prymaat can't tell them that they're from Remulac.
Oh, no. So,
Yeah,
because that would give it away.
get
But
the game away.
So
Yeah.
their excuse as to where they came from is, oh, we also come from France. Okay.
That totally makes sense. And they can't even check it out, so just go with it.
Yeah. And when Louis says, we're going to serve this deal under the table, guess what? They actually go under the table.
And this is after they spend all of 30 seconds repairing a TV set, a Japanese TV set. They love making that sort of distinction there.
Yeah. But, oh, Louis' all-new TV repair 1-hour service.
Yeah, 1 hour. It actually takes 1 minute.
Yeah.
And to hide the fact that their heads are oddly shaped, Beldar wears
An elf hat.
an elf hat. And I guess you could call his collar an elf costume as well. So
I gotta say, Beldar looks adorable in that elf hat.
yeah. So this actually ties into the SNL mythos because I believe on the show, Beldar is a TV repairman.
Yes.
Okay. One day after work, Beldar and Prymaat are in the throes of hot alien romance when... oh boy.
She's with Cone.
She is with Cone. So, of course, they spend the night paying attention to and God-created woman just so they can figure out what on earth they're supposed to be doing. What on earth they're supposed to be... yeah. I made it funny.
Oh, and they got the sensor rings. That means they're gonna have sex.
Yes.
And oh, she's in labor.
Okay, and Conehead females give birth out of their heads.
Yeah.
Which you can't see, but you can definitely see the blankets moving all over the place.
Yeah, use your imagination.
Yeah. And congratulations, it's a female!
Oh, hey. Now Beldar owns the TV repair shop. Because, yeah, Louis, I guess, moved and sold the shop to him?
They either sold the shop, moved, retired, or died. But in any case, it's Beldar's shop now. And he's basically using the shop as cover for trying to
communicate back to Remulac.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but now we have a time jump. And
Yep.
oh, yeah, now he's fixing video recorders.
And Prymaat is wearing her trademark apron now. Only this one says, I hate housework.
But
And-
Connie comes back from the school upset. She wants to know why she's different and wants to know where she came from. But of course,
She's not ready.
Yeah, the excuse is, we come from France. Just keep telling them you come from France. But nope, it's an inadequate response.
Just keep telling yourself and everybody else you come from France.
And now they're consuming mass quantities. They're eating hot dogs. And look at that Beldar.
And
He
eats with paint.
With paint,
Yes.
uses it as ketchup. Okay.
Now that Connie went to bed or doing homework or whatever, Beldar and Prymaat plug in their communication device to see if they can't get a signal to Remulac. Yeah, about your previous mission. Remember how I was the king of 8 solar systems? Well, it's 6 now because, yeah. Well, it's 6 because there was a bit of an insurrection. And there's also some budgetary concerns that have gone through. So, you're going to be stuck on Earth for a while.
Oh no.
Yeah. And like every alien in an adult-themed cartoon, and by that I mean, of course, solar opposites, which we'll talk about one particular episode in a future entry, they don't really like being on Earth that much.
No.
But they make the most of it.
Oh no. Now they're at a gas station, Beldar is drinking the gas. Ew.
And they're arguing about driving to a,
Place in New Jersey.
Yep.
New Jersey welcomes safe drivers. And now they're at their new house. Oh, look at that sign. Viva la France.
And he's got a backhoe in the backyard?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because they're building an X for when the alien spaceship lands.
Oh, okay. I missed that earlier.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yep. They gotta talk up the neighbors. And, of course, now that they've gone native, they have to know what's going on. And Prymaat is doing housework now. Even though, let's be honest, she hates housework. But that's okay because she is also a vacuum.
Yeah, she didn't like the suction power from her vacuum, so she just hooked it up to her mouth and inhaled.
She did this in the movie. You want to know how long they've actually been stranded on Earth? Connie's a teenager now.
Yeah.
Where she was about 7 or 8, 10 minutes ago. Now she's a teenager.
Time jump.
Yep. She's also on the swim team at school. I bet she dives like a rocket. Only, downwards. Aerodynamic. Anyway.
No splash, baby.
Nope. But the neighbors did leave a sensor ring.
That's no donut. That's a coffee cake.
Ah. Well, this explains a lot, I guess.
Well, they're being good neighbors. They brought over a coffee cake.
Yeah.
Yep. And now Connie's wearing a coffee cake on her head. Oh, no, that's a headband.
Yeah, over her cone.
And she's decked her cone out with stars.
Yeah, because
Yep.
she's going to a rock concert.
Yep.
And now they explain the story about where she comes from.
On what on Earth they're doing on Earth. And how he lost the speech to the UN and
Yeah, and now they're stuck on Earth.
yeah. Which is bad news for Connie because she was beginning to like life on Earth. It's the only life she knew. No, it really is the only life she knew.
She just wants to groove and hang out. Oh, and here's Ronnie.
Yep.
This is her boyfriend.
And also, it should be noted that Ronnie is the character that Chris Farley plays in the 1983 Coneheads movie.
I know where Connie gets her good looks from. We'll be back by midnight, Dad.
Oh, but meanwhile...
Here comes the bad news. Hey, remember when I was the overlord of 8 star systems? Well, thanks to a bit of an insurrection, it's now 6 star systems, and, oh yeah, our budgeting is falling through, so...
Yeah, because as we mentioned earlier, we talked about the insurrections, so now the budget has fallen through. But, oh, meanwhile, the neighbors...
They're watching a concert or something. Basically, there will be no Star Cruiser to rescue you for some time. And again, how are they going to survive living on this miserable planet?
I know, right?
I was born here and I can't survive living on this miserable planet. But think about what Connie's going through. This is the only life she knows, and now she may have to leave it.
Oh, no!
And her date now wants one of those French kisses.
Oh?
Because she's from France.
Oh, that's right, yeah. She's
Uh-huh.
from France, in quotation marks.
We are from France. And, okay, Beldar and Prymaat break the news to Connie, and, well, Connie's a bit more enthusiastic than Beldar and Prymaat are. But her date returns with Connie's sensor ring.
Well, not her sensor ring. It was the parents' sensor ring. Uh-oh. Then we
oh.
need Susan St. James. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And that's how it ends.
So, yeah. So this pilot is basically the origin story of the SNL characters.
Yeah, I'd say that.
And basically put, it fell a little short.
It did.
I mean, it's like I get what they were trying to do, but they were only 80% of the way there. Now, which is a surprise because the same people who write for SNL wrote this pilot.
Yeah, you had Franken and Davis. They wrote this.
Franken and Davis were like the kings of SNL back in the 70s.
Yeah, well, the one issue I mentioned to Greg before we recorded was this was a little too late, I think. If this happened in like 80 or 81, right as that first SNL
era
group
ended.
left, I think it would have been more timely, a little bit better. But you waited till late 83, so now you're talking about 3 years, over 3 years since Jane Curtin left, and over 4 years since Dan Aykroyd left.
And don't forget, it would be another 3 years before Nick at Night picks up the SNL package and starts airing it in reruns.
Yeah, so I think you lost some timeliness by waiting 3.5 years after most of your components left the show, and it hasn't been on the air since 79, 80. Or actually probably even closer to 78, 79 since Aykroyd left before 79, 80.
Yeah, because he left with John Belushi.
So, yeah, I really think timing was not best here. But actually, it was for the best because, as we said earlier, a year later, you'd have Jane Curtin on Kate and Alley for a good 5-year run. And obviously, in 84, Dan Aykroyd had a pretty decent movie, Ghost Boosters?
Goosebusters.
I think I got my pronunciation wrong there. Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
Okay, thank you, Greg. I appreciate it, Greg.
Hey,
And that's not all, because a year and a half later, Arthur Rankin and Jules Bass would team up with Pacific Animation Corporation again for another project.
Oh?
A slightly more successful one.
Oh, yeah, that show.
Yeah, that show.
Yeah.
I wonder whatever happened to that show.
No. Yeah, I wonder. Oh, by the way, one thing I need to mention. Ghostbusters, it had a pinball machine.
Nice!
Oh, yes, it did.
Yes, with Ernie Hudson doing the voiceover in that. Oh, and speaking of Ernie Hudson, we'll be talking about a show he did in 1986 later this year.
So it was like a win-win-win situation that this didn't get picked up, if you will, because, again, Jane Curtin went on to better stuff and bigger stuff. So did Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, yeah.
And so did rankin-bass.
So did rankin-bass.
Everybody won, it seemed.
Oh, you know what else Dan Aykroyd did after this?
What did Dan Aykroyd do after this?
In 1987, he did the movie version of Dragnet with Tom Hanks.
Classic.
Nice.
I can't quite place it! It tastes like milk. Just like the sign said on the building before you obliterated it. Fresh, wholesome milk. You probably love this stuff, don't you? Vitamin D, calcium, essential for good, strong bones and healthy teeth. But that's probably all Greek to you, isn't it, Mr. Gingivitis?
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
Oh, guess what, guys? Hold on a second. Let me get it off the shelf.
Oh, no. Oh, Greg is pulling out from his collection of sundries here.
The Dragnet Shout Select Blu-ray. Look at that.
Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd.
Isn't that sweet?
Classic.
That's nice.
Oh, you know who else was in the Dragnet movie?
Who else was in the Dragnet movie?
R.I.P. Christopher Plummer. We'll be talking about him next month. What else do we have to say about the Coneheads animated pilot in 1983? But one night in between episodes of Mr. Smith and Wow! Manimal, it was a thing on TV.
Yep.
There
And
we go.
again, adult-themed cartoons, they wouldn't be big things until, let's say, 5 or 6 years later, with a family from Springfield and another bald-headed, goof-up father.
And of course, later in the 90s, we'd have another dim-witted father from Rhode Island.
And a not-so-dim-witted father from Texas.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
then we get the somewhat dim-witted father from Virginia 5 years after that.
Yeah.
And a dim-witted father with a genius father-in-law. A mad genius father-in-law. And then we have solar opposites from that guy, so maybe this was a bit ahead of its time? Maybe?
Possibly?
Yeah.
I don't know how well this would have done as a regular series, but
I still say it was about 3 years after its ripeness.
Yeah. But hey, you know what is always ripe?
Don't say it. Do not say it.
Our website, it was a thing on TV.com.
Oh, good. You didn't say it. Good.
No.
Thank you.
Come on, Mike.
I'm just my defenses were built up there. I thought you were going to talk about eBay prices right, but I'm
Well,
glad
since you
didn't.
mentioned it.
Oh no!
Okay, now you could watch the pilot for free online on YouTube.
oh, don't tell me this is going to be a tag team situation where we're bidding on a recorded copy of the pilot.
This is a Warner Home Video
Oh,
release.
this is
that was-
commercially released.
Yeah, this was commercially released. Somebody bought it off a Hollywood Video, and they're selling it on eBay.
Does it have the Hollywood Video sticker on it?
It has the Hollywood Video
Okay,
sticker
how much
on
did
it.
this go for at Hollywood Video?
Let me take a look for you. Hollywood Video. It didn't give me a price, though. It has a Hollywood Video sticker on it,
Okay, so let's just assume it was
but
like
it does
$3.99.
not give me a...
We'll just
and
assume-
the interesting thing is, they built it as a kids movie.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no!
Let me just say.
No!
Oh no. But let's just say this was $3.99, $4.99.
Yes.
Just assuming that Hollywood Video was clearing out their VHS inventory when everything went to DVD. Because I know when I worked for Blockbuster in the mid 2000s, when we were switching to all DVD, we just had all the VHS on clearance for like $3.99, $4.99. And I actually snagged the VHS of MST3K, the movie, by the way.
This Island Earth.
Oh yeah, This Island Earth with the professor from Gilligan's Island.
Nice.
R.I.P. Russell Johnson.
Okay, Mike, what do you think? VHS copy of the Coneheads.
Buy it now.
Buy it now price.
Oh my gosh. This could, wow. I'm going to go, I just talking to myself, I'm sorry. This could be anything, seriously. I'm going to go $29.90.
Greg?
I'm gonna go $2.99.
I thought you were going to go $1 there. Okay.
I'm gonna be generous. I was not gonna do $1. I think it's
Okay.
way too much.
All right, the actual buy it now price for this copy of the Coneheads from Hollywood Video. Oh boy, $14.99.
Yeah.
Okay. I Doubled it up. All right.
Yeah, and the
I
thing
really
of it is,
thought it was that rare.
yeah, they said it was super rare, but here's the thing: it was actually released in 1993 to coincide with the movie.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
That does make sense.
And it's from Telepictures, which means it would have been.
Warner Home Video, yes.
So I'm guessing Warner Brothers still owns the rights to this pilot.
Well, that's actually...
It's weird because Rankin-Bass's rights are kind of like split between Universal, which owns SNL, because if you remember, DreamWorks Animation bought certain properties from Rankin-Bass a couple years back.
And NBC Universal now owns DreamWorks Animation.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers still owns most of the catalog, like Thundercats and Silverhawks. So
maybe one day this will be like commercially available or streaming on Peacock one day. Who knows?
either Peacock or HBO Max, one of the two. But in any event, you can find out more about all the shows we talk about on our website, itwasathingontv.com. And while there, you can follow us on all social media at It Was a Thing on TV. And don't forget to stream our podcasts wherever fine podcasts can be streamed. Remember, 5 stars only. I do not go on eBay looking for VHS tapes.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, nobody's leaving us 5-star reviews, unfortunately. We haven't done that request in a while, but you know what? As we said, subscribe to us on YouTube, because if we get 1,000 subscribers, we can actually make some money on this podcast. That's where the real money is.
YouTube, baby.
The real money. And also follow us on Twitter at It Was a Thing on TV. Hey, Mike, you know who followed us today?
No, I don't.
Frank Sandra Padre from Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast followed us on Twitter.
Special
my
shout
God.
out.
That's amazing.
Yes, shout out to you, Frank. And I think it also helps that I retweeted from the show Twitter the gif of the gorilla from the Filmation Ghostbusters.
Tracy
the gorilla, yes.
Tracy the gorilla. Yeah.
Speaking of Ghostbusters,
Yeah. Well, you say it.
the other Ghostbusters from Filmation, which we'll be talking about sometime in mid-November.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All the COVID stuff, now that we're getting back to normal, hopefully it's safe to say we're going to finally have Ghostbusters Afterlife in November, and I can't wait for it.
Yep.
Paul Rudd, baby.
Woo, boy.
Who can't get enough of Paul Rudd?
Down here!
Give me some of that, kid. Okay, so next week.
Well, hold on, Chico. I think we got to close the vault for the year. Let's put the pilots away until next April.
Well, I kind of have one more.
Oh,
Well,
one more. All
One
right.
more, but not technically it was because it's pilot month. It's because an anniversary is falling for this.
25th anniversary.
Ah.
Yes, a TV movie based off of a British science fiction show.
Oh.
Aired on Fox on This Week and 25 years ago.
This particular week in 1996. And not only that, but we're going to have a British theme for this week. So we're going to be covering a show from Britain. And would you believe that this show has 2 future members of Monty Python?
Wow.
Oh, we're going back.
This is a deep cut.
This is an extremely deep cut. But not only that, but would you believe that there's a year in the title? And this show has nothing to do with the year in the title?
So what would that have to do with the actual show? We'll try and figure this out before the next installment of It Was a Thing on TV. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Wow!
All right, Prymaat. What else do you think our survey showed people like?
to bite?
Organically inactive meat or vegetable matter between two starch planes.
It's a long walk back to France if you don't get this one right, Prymaat. All right. Show me organically inactive meat or vegetable matter between two starch planes. Sandwich. All right. That's acceptable. Okay. 12 people said sandwich. All right, Connie. Something that people like to bite.
The big one.
Bite the big one. All right. Does our audience bite the big one? Well, we all want to know that one. We're going to find out right now. Show me the big one. All right.
Oh, wait a minute. We forgot something.
Oh, yeah. There's an exploding whale outside. Should we do something about that?